My name is David Gower. I'm the CEO of Emerita Resources Corp. Emerita is a company actively exploring in the Iberian Pyrite Belt in southern Spain. It has highly advanced projects there. Currently is drilling on the Iberia Belt West project, where it has very high grades, and is in line to acquire the Asmacoir project. Is essentially a world-class asset in this category. The Iberia Pyrite Belt is one of the most productive volcanogenic massive sulfide belts in the world. There is a lot of activity in this part of the world. Lundin, of course, has the famous Neves Corvo mine. Trafigura is at Aguas Tenidas. First Quantum has an operation. Rio Tinto has a smelter, and Glencore has a zinc smelter in Spain as well. So it's a very strong jurisdiction in terms of support for the mining industry. The government about 2 months ago, actually in this region, passed a resolution that declared underground mining would be a preferred economic activity for the region, particularly post-COVID, with the economic rebuilding they expect to do. And about a week later, the European Union established a program of 3.5 billion euros to support mining and metallurgy projects in this region over the next 5 years. That being said, there's probably never been a better time to be developing projects in this region. At IBW, we have that project at 100%. It was won through a public tender process. The drilling has just started. We released the first 3 holes. We have about another half a dozen holes finished. Very high grade on the Infanta deposit. The last hole was a 14-meter intersection of about 10% zinc, but within that 5 meters of 30% zinc and 3.8% copper, as an example. The deposits on IBW are all at surface. Romanera, which is the largest deposit known on the property, is a 34 million ton resource that was drilled by Rio Tinto in the 70s and 80s. There's a high grade 11 million tons. It's only drilled to about 300 meters. It's wide open, 20 meters thick at that depth. And we will start the drilling on that this fall. These 2 deposits are only 8 kilometers apart, so they will share infrastructure in terms of processing. And there is a third deposit called Alcura in between, which we'll also be drilling later this year. So it's a very exciting project, one that we will be able to take through to pre-feasibility and feasibility very quickly in a very good jurisdiction. The other project, which will be a huge catalyst for the company, is the Asmacoir project. This one has been complicated. It's been in a lawsuit for about 6 years, which is about to conclude. And all of the rulings to date, all of the appeals have been firmly in favor of Emerita. And essentially, it's a past producing operation. They had a tailings collapse in 1997. It was taken back by the government and reclaimed. Subsequently, it was put out for a public tender, which was a public tender to redevelop it at the request of the communities. That project, the Los Frailes mine, had about 73 million tons, of which we calculate more than 20 million tons of better than 10% combined lead zinc, essentially outcropping in the pit. It's only been drilled to about 300 meters below the pit. It's 40 meters thick at that depth, so it will get a lot bigger. There's a second deposit on the property, the original mine, in fact, that was mined back in the 60s, the original Asmacoir open pit. Below that, there's a 90 million ton resource still existing, of which maybe half of it would be available to underground mining. It's more of a copper silver rich with lower lead zinc deposit, but close enough that you could access it from the same underground workings. And there is in fact a third deposit in between the 2. This is a project that has already been permitted in principle to go back into production. The tender really required that the bidders put together the redevelopment plan. So we've spent $1 million on engineering already on this project. We've done full water treatment, water management studies, which were approved at that time by the federal water authorities. So we know exactly how to develop this project, and it will move very quickly once the court case is resolved. The important thing about this case is the public tender process is, the laws around it in Spain are very clear. If there's the commission of a crime and the awarding of a public tender, that bid must be disqualified. And in this case, the crime will be corruption. 16 people have been charged. We only need one of them finally convicted, and then the government can move to re-award this tender. Under the law, it cannot be retendered. It's a legal tender as long as there's a qualified bidder, and we are the only other bidder in the process. So it's been a long period of time, but we are very close to acquiring what is a fantastic asset, which will be a major catalyst for the value of the company.